Welcome to my advertising class for summer session, 7 weeks, a really fast semester we have, but we're going to learn a lot. We have 14 chapters to cover, and this is chapter 1, strategic brand communication. So what does marketing do? Many of you have obviously taken marketing classes, but this is a little bit of a review that it builds brand and customer relationships that generate sales and profits. And it can be for anything like a nonprofit, it could be for memberships, it could be for donations as well. The traditional goals have been to sell goods, services, or ideas. The marketing mix is the 4 Ps: product, place, price, promotion. This is the goal of marketing. Again, something you've already learned. So the marketing mix: customer relationships must benefit a brand's stakeholders. And a stakeholder is not only an individual, but it's also a group. It could be the employees of the company, anyone who invests, the customers of the company, the actual community around the company, media, and any kind of business partners that they use. Positive relationships create value for the brand. Marketing and messages. These are all the things we're going to cover this semester. Marketing communication, otherwise known as Markham, involves advertising, PR, sales, direct response, events and sponsorships, point of sale, digital media, packaging, and finally personal selling. So what does brand communication include? It includes all marketing communication messages and brand experiences that create and maintain a coherent brand. Personal experiences that create and maintain a coherent brand image, and then of course word of mouth. So anything that comes from the brand, it can be positive or negative, but we think about all the experiences that we have with any brand that we use. It all leads up to what that brand image means. Brand communication's role in marketing. Well, marketing is designed to build brand and customer relationships that generate sales and profits. It's all about sales and profits, including increasing your customer base and your leads as well. So who are the key players? There's 4 categories. You have marketers, marketing partners, suppliers and vendors, and then distributors and retailers. So that shows you in your career path a lot of direction you can be going with a marketing degree. So what are the most common types of markets? We have the consumer marketplace, the business to business marketplace, institutions like FAU or the hospitals, and then you have what we call channel, which means wholesalers, distributors of product. So how does the marketing mix send messages? Well, first with product, the communication builds awareness, explaining how the new product works and explain how it differs from competition. The marketing mix, as we said, is the 4 Ps: product, place, price, promotion. So the product could be anything from packaging and branding. The price, we know, different price points if something's on sale or they're competing with like brands. The place is where you're going to find the product, marketing coverage, and then promotion, we know, is all the things we just talked about. That's the advertising, the personal selling, merchandising, packaging, everything is the promotion piece. So how does the marketing mix send messages? So here we are at the pricing point. We talked about product awareness. Well, pricing is based on what the market will bear, what's going on with competition, relative value of the product, consumers' ability to gauge that value. So the price, as we know, does send a message. If it's a quality item, the price is usually higher, or it has a status that goes with it. And that's when we talk about higher end advertising and considering class, upper class, lower class. Obviously, the dollar menu is not meant for the same person who might be buying a Mercedes and uses a Gucci bag. The place part we just talked about, okay? So includes channels used to make the product accessible to the customer. So you can have the best product in the world, but if it's not available to the customer, then that's not going to work out. Okay, you're not going to have a product be successful if it can't get into the customer's hands. So that's where places like, is it available at Target? It is available at Walmart. Is it available at Publix? The distribution channel used also sends a message to the consumer about the product. So for example, if you're selling your product through, say, Whole Foods, that gives a little more of a higher end product in the consumer's mind versus, say, a dollar store. So what is integrated marketing communication? You may have heard this term used. It's called IMC. So the definition of this is the practice of coordinating all brand communication messages and messages from the marketing mix decisions. Integration means that every message is focused and works together. Makes sense, right? This creates a synergy. The whole has more impact than the sum of its parts. So when you think about a marketing communication program for any product or service, it's when you look at every part of it. And you're going to do this when you look up your favorite ad. That is one of your assignments this semester. You have a favorite ad that you're going to choose. And you have to decide and look at where else are they advertising. So maybe you find the ad on Instagram, for instance, or on television or YouTube. But where else are they advertising? Maybe billboards, maybe radio, television. They could also be on TikTok. But you have to show these are all the different ways that a company communicates with us as a consumer. And it's very important that the message is very similar and has the same goals so that you're not here, there, and everywhere as a company. You have a similar logo and you use the same tagline over and over again so that that image, that brand image, is being built with the customer. So what does brand mean? The definition: a perception often inspires emotion that results from experiences with and information about a company, an organization, or a line of products. So if you have a positive experience with the company, maybe different products that they put out, such as different flavors of something or different colors of something or styles, we tend to be a little more brand loyal to that, something like that, versus something that we're not familiar with. Branding does differentiate products and organizations. So here's an example of Tom's. Many of you know that they are a company that gives back and they make a casual shoe. But the why they're different is because they do give back and they're philanthropic, and their whole shtick is that they give back and they're not just here as a company that's making money, that they're making a difference in the world. So how does a brand acquire meaning? Marketing communication delivers meaning, or making cues and images to a brand. This perception is called brand meaning, and it's the one aspect of a brand that can't be copied. It can be ideas, perceptions, and promises. A brand is a perception loaded with emotion and feelings, tangible elements such as a trademark or package design. So here's an example of Scrub Daddy. Last semester, this was something that we worked with a company that we worked with, and you can see that it's very different in that it has a smiley face. It's not a typical sponge. The packaging is very bright. The packaging allows for the product to be touched, right? And there's a perception. You're getting a relationship happening here with this product. Here's another example of a product, Ivory Soap. The reason it's a successful brand for many years is because it has differentiation points. For example, it carries a heritage. It's very simple. It's pure. Often it's based on this, the soap that floats. Okay, we know this is their tagline. I think that was by accident, but they're using this as a distinctive point that makes them different from their, an attribute that is different from their competition. And we associate things like ivory as pure and simple and clean. And like we said, the benefit of it is that it floats, and it makes it different from the products that are out there in competition. Another example is Coke. They have a distinctive bottle. No matter what the language is here, even though this is for the Chinese market, we know that this is Coke because their logo is known around the world. So how does brand transformation work? Brand identity cues are generally the brand name, but they can also be visual symbols, as we know. A logo is similar to what you brand cattle with, and it stands for the product's source. A trademark is a legal sign that indicates legal ownership. So here's a great video here, and I do incorporate these throughout the semester. It drives it home a little bit more, but these are some creative logos that are out there that I think you will find interesting. So take a look at this video. So how does brand transformation work? Brand position and promise. So a brand positions themselves not only where the location of the product is, but also in the consumer's mind. So think about that. When you're thinking of share of mind, I say share of stomach, it could be share of wallet. So a brand wants to position themselves with you as the customer. So for example, if you're thinking of where should I go to eat after class, immediately 2 or 3 different brands come to mind. It could be Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, or the food truck on campus. Every brand wants to be in that position with you. How do they get there? Okay, it's all about how they position themselves with you, what relationship they form with you, what promises they make to you. So a brand promise identifies key selling points for the product. Maybe the product's all natural. It has clean ingredients. They never use no cruelty to animals, things like that. Those are the promises. Here's some more examples of what that looks like. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Coke will inspire moments of optimism and uplift. Apple, think differently. These are just a few examples of promises by brands. How does brand transformation work? Brand image is the mental picture idea about a brand that contains both association and emotions. Brand personality humanizes an organization or a brand. It symbolizes the personal qualities of people you know. So we think of brand personality and we think, what does that mean? How do we relate to it? So let me show you what I mean on this next slide. So we think of things like Marlboro, the cigarettes. We think of, a ruggedness, perhaps a cowboy in the West out on a horse. MTV, very wacky, crazy shows. Harley Davidson has more of a rebellious quality. Brand value and brand equity. Brand value comes in 2 forms: the value to the consumer and its value to the corporation. So these are the world's top most valuable brands. I know none of you will be amazed at Amazon, Apple, Google. Okay, top ones right off the bat. You knew that. They have value to the consumer, and that's why they are successful. Brand equity is the intangible value of the brand based on the relationship with its stakeholders. And we talked about stakeholders in the beginning of this PowerPoint, as well as its intellectual property value. Brands have a financial value that can be plotted on a balance sheet. How much do they make? What relationship do they have with the customer? Brand value and brand equity. Okay, leveraging your brand equity. So a lot of companies do this. Instead of reinventing an entirely new product, they depend on that brand relationship that you have. And so that's where brand extensions come from. The use of an established brand name with a related line of products. Co-branding uses two brand names owned by two separate companies to create a partnership offering. And we're going to show you some examples of this in a moment. Brand licensing. The brand is rented to a business partner. And ingredient branding. The brand name is used in manufacturing, advertising, or promotion. So here's an example. You can name these. So you have Clorox up here. Then we go over here at Subway, has a Halo shake. Down here is the Intel inside. And then you have Scrub Daddy, but if you don't know what Scrub Daddy is, it's a sponge. And it has SpongeBob on it. Okay, so the next slide, we're going to answer the question. So see if you can guess what's what. Okay, so Clorox has many brand extensions. You trust the name. That means you'll trust it for your wash, cleaning your bathrooms, toilets, etc. Co-branding is using Halo, the ice cream, and co-branding it with Subway. I've had these. They're delicious. Ingredient branding is the Intel inside. And then brand licensing is here with the Scrub Daddy licensing SpongeBob with this. And I think they even had a pineapple scent. I could be wrong. It was a special edition. Okay, brand communication in a time of change. Wow. If this chapter is not, or this section of the chapter isn't timely. Accountability. Managers are challenged to prove they're pursuing the most effective marketing strategies. So when you go and you work for a company, many of you have had internships already and jobs that you work in, your boss is going to want to know what the ROI is, the return on our investment. We spent a certain amount of money on a campaign. How much did it cost? Did we get our money back? Did it deliver on sales? And you'll need to, and I don't know why this is still in there, this last, you can disregard this last sentence. Brand relationship strategies. Relationship building programs shift the strategy from a one-time purchase to a repeat purchase and long-term brand loyalty. I think that's pretty much what every brand wants. And certainly during this time of COVID-19, many companies were building on that brand loyalty. You know, they couldn't do a lot for you, but if they could, they gave you certain things. Like maybe you didn't have to, if you were leasing a car, they were giving you, 90 days until you needed to make a payment, building that relationship with the brand. Wendy's, they were giving out a free Frosty. Burger King, they were doing a buy one burger, get another one free if you uploaded their app. So there's lots of companies out there that were building that relationship with us in our time of need. So think of an example of a brand that you have a relationship with and why. You might not think of it as a relationship, but it's true. So word of mouth marketing, very powerful. This has emerged because of its inherent persuasiveness. Influencers have blossomed because of this credibility we are seeking as consumers. We tend to believe our friends, our family members, and other people that are important in our lives. And that's why we read reviews and we connect with influencers. And here's some statistics on why word of mouth marketing really works. We connect with that influencer. Okay, we believe the recommendations from family and friends over, say, advertising. Millennials ranked word of mouth as the #1 influencer in their purchasing decisions. 68% trust online opinions from other consumers. I know you all look at reviews, so do I. And 72% say reading a positive customer review increases their trust in the business. It takes on an average of 2 to 6 reviews to get 56% of them to this point. Okay, so that means if there's positive reviews, this is great. You feel more comfortable spending money or going to that restaurant or purchasing that appliance, etc. Viral marketing, you all know, refers to information that's spread quickly on the internet through a wide network of contacts. If something goes viral, everybody's happy. Global marketing. Okay, global marketing is growing rapidly, and we all know that there's local brands, which means you're marketed to a single country. That's still called local. Regional brands is one marketed through a global region. Okay, international brand is available in many different countries, and a global brand is available virtually everywhere. Okay, so international and global, sometimes people get confused about. So here are some examples. Here are a few brands that represent different types of geographic marketing strategies. We have IKEA, McDonald's, and Wawa. See if you can identify each one of these. Okay, so IKEA is international, McDonald's is global, and Wawa is regional. Excuse me. Convergence. Consumers are empowered and engaged in both sending and receiving messages. Media forms are becoming blurred now through print, TV, online, cell phones, watches. Advertising, public relations, and other Markham areas are blurring their functions as well as integrating their programs. That gets back to that IMC, Integrated Marketing Communications. Okay, consumers have as much power now as the actual company that is sending the messages. So diversity, marketing programs, and marketing communication are becoming more socially inclusive. We know this from many brands that are out there. Ethnicity is equally important. More companies are aware of this. Brands are held accountable for their stance on political and social issues now more than ever. I say think Nike, think Aunt Jemima. Pepsi owns Quaker Oats, and as you all know, Aunt Jemima is off the market. They're going to rename it and have it with a more positive role model and not one that's connected to slavery and negative connotations. And it's interesting that for years, if you've been doing any reading about Aunt Jemima and some of the other brands like Uncle Ben's, they have had, it's been controversial for them for many years, and they have ignored it until now. So I'm happy to see that they are rethinking their brands and the meaning behind their brands. So Barbie builds diversity in the 21st century. So we all know Barbie, grew up with a Barbie, but now Mattel realized that we need to be more ethnically diverse. And they came out with 23 dolls and 8 skin tones, 14 facial styles, 18 eye colors. I don't know, are there 18 eye colors? 22 hairstyles, 23 hair colors, along with a variety of different fashions. So this is the kind of thing that's happening around us. Companies are more aware. You want customers, you need to bring diversity into it. And here's an example. Fenty makeup is another, many of you use this makeup, inclusive makeup line. So that's just another example of a very successful company that has realized that there's a whole market for women of a certain color. Okay, we're going to be moving on to chapter 2 next. Make sure you've gone through the syllabus. Send me any questions that you have. You connect with your group. know who they are. You have a survey that you're going to be doing. So look at the rubric for the class and make sure you understand all the assignments and when they are due, including the field exercises. So see you in chapter 2.